at this. Now look at this. Does this make you feel worse than this? How about this? Does this make you feel worse than this? Does it make you feel icky? Does it give you that stinky feeling? Does it make you feel like something bad is gonna happen? That's because dolls are creepy. I stand by it. I don't care. Some people are like, oh, dolls are cute. No, they're not! This one specifically is the one we're gonna talk about today, and he's real creepy because he's got that poop stank look to him. Look at him. He looks like the kind of thing that's gonna frame you for like killing your cat and then make your husband get you a lobotomy. When I was a child, there was one specific thing that scared me more than anything else in the world, and that thing was Chucky. I had never seen Chucky, but I had heard about Chucky from the kids at school who had seen Chucky. Child's play, if you will. I was so scared of Chucky, I would stay up until 4 a.m. with a stomach ache at sleepovers because I just knew that Chucky was gonna round that corner in this unfamiliar house. Like, I just knew. Like, Chucky was the thing that scared the ever-living daylights out of me. But that was because I hadn't seen Chucky. So when my mom found out how terrified I was of Chucky, she showed me the Child's Play trailer, and immediately I was not scared anymore. That's because the idea of a grown man's soul going into the body of a doll and becoming a murderer, and then all of the comedy things that happened in Child's Play, it's just stupid.
Talk to me, damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut!
It's just dumb. But there's a good reason that Chucky scared me so badly. Look at Dead Silence, Annabelle, the boy, the jigsaw puppet. The list goes on and on. Dolls scare people, and if we're gonna sit here and pretend they don't, we're telling ourselves a lie. Therapist says I need to stop doing that. And it wasn't just Chucky I was scared of. I was scared of all large dolls like that. I mean, I was scared that my porcelain doll would try to get revenge on me because I slept with all of my stuffed animals, but I never let her in the bed because she creeped me out. That was when I was a kid, by the way. That wasn't like recent, because that would be like... This is my series, Horror Movies in Real Life, where I talk about either real life inspirations from horror movies or times that things from horror movies happened in real life. Today, we're going to be talking about the infamous Robert the Doll. There was a real-life haunted doll that reminds me a lot of Chucky. Because Chucky was meant to be a boy's best friend, you know, just a rough and tumble, life-size rubber doll that is your ride or die, there for you no matter what. He wasn't like a Barbie or an action figure, he was a big rubber doll. He was durable! These are all characteristics that Chucky shares with my personal nightmare, Robert the Doll. And, like the boy from Chucky, no one believes him when he says that his doll is alive. Because that really happened. Stop! Right there, I see you guys commenting. I know that some of you guys are gonna just start in with all these comments saying, Chucky and Robert the Doll are literally not even the same. That was a doll that a murderer's soul got sucked into. Robert the Doll was innocent. He never killed anybody, okay? I don't even dislike pumpkin spice lattes. I just want to be different, and I don't want to like what everybody else likes because I have a superiority complex. Robert has literally never killed or hurt anybody. He just likes a little mischief. He's nothing like Chucky, Melody. Come on. I'm starting to think that I'm the reason that my dad left. And you all have valid points, but hear me out. Anyone who tries to say that Robert the Doll and Chucky are nothing alike are just simply wrong. Because it turns out that Chucky, the movie, pays an homage to Robert the Doll and was indirectly inspired by Robert the Doll. And honestly, that makes me a little sad because I thought this was a super original idea for a video, and I feel a lot less smart now that I found out that Chucky was inspired directly by Robert the Doll. Today, we're gonna talk about Robert the Doll, his history, what makes him so scary. So without further ado, I introduce our video, Robert the Doll, the real-life Chucky. Oh, and Merry Christmas Eve to those of you who are watching. I wanted to do a Christmas video this week, but I couldn't think of anything festive, so my mind is just in a perpetual state of horror. Robert the Doll originally belonged to Robert Eugene Otto in 1904 in Key West, Florida. So kick on back to Margaritaville, pour yourself something tall and strong, make it a hurricane, before I go insane. You may know it as the only good part of Florida, and you would be correct. And yes, both the child who owned the doll and the doll were both named Robert. But don't worry, it wasn't just like some god complex. Okay, Robert said that the doll wanted to go by the name of Robert, so he was just so nice to give his first name to the doll, and he continued to go by his middle name, Gene, because sharing is caring, and, you know, if a doll demands to be called by your name, who am I to tell it no? Isn't that sweet? Aww. There is a long, misleading, and windy list of where Robert the doll came from in all of these theories. The family has recalled Gene's grandfather gifting him the doll in 1904, but the locals have a legend that one of the servants of the house, who was from the Bahamas, practiced voodoo and gifted the child the doll as kind of an act of malice for treating the servants badly. But I don't really think that part of the story is true. I don't know. I've done my research. There's a lot of blurred lines there. Regardless of who gave young Gene, Otto, the doll, Robert's origins were traced back to Germany from a company called the Steiff Company. The Steiff Company was actually the first company to make the teddy bear inspired by Theodore Roosevelt, which is a fun little fact for you. But they don't really have any lines of dolls. The Steiff Company and historians have since decided that Robert the doll was probably meant to be a window display to showcase toys like teddy bears and not really meant to be a toy himself. Which makes total sense because this thing is A, not cute, B, doesn't look like a doll, and C, freaking huge! This thing is 40 inches tall. This little outfit that he's wearing right here, where did that come from? Oh yeah, it was Gene's. It was the child's. Not only did he have his owner's name, Robert, he now is stealing all his drip. This is crazy. That's no doll. That's a whole child mannequin. Gene and his doll Robert became very close, and his mother started to notice some really weird things going down. I mean, other than Gene going by his middle name Gene and electing to give his first name Robert to the doll. I mean, that should have been her first red flag. But Gene began to talk to Robert the doll, and he was doing it in a way that was very obsessive, like he was having genuine conversations in a way that was just not on par with how he played imaginatively regularly. The rumor is that the family started to notice that the doll would whisper back.
No! God, please, no!
Yes. God, yes. That is how the story goes. According to one story, there was one occasion where Gene's mother and father were asleep when Gene's mother heard a loud clattering coming from Gene's bedroom, so she rushed up to go see what the matter was, and Gene was cowering on one side of the room opposite of the doll, Robert, and all of the furniture was overturned, and the only thing that young Gene could say, petrified in fear, was, Robert did it. Which, ew! As a parent, burn it! But I guess they couldn't, because even though Gene was scared of Robert, Gene also loved Robert and was very, very close with this doll, and they were inseparable. Talk about a toxic relationship, am I right, ladies? Okay, moving on. Alright. The rest of this legend is complete speculation. There's different sources that say different things, so I better not see any of you cheeky buggers in my comment section beating me relentlessly with your maces and clubs of words. That was stupid. Cut that. But anyway, the point is the rest of this legend is complete speculation, so take everything with a grain of salt, if you will. Whispering apparently only got worse, and people started to notice that the voice coming from Robert was no longer a whisper, but it was actually a deeper, more gravelly voice that's horrifying. I don't know how these parents didn't just decide to burn the doll, because that's what I would have done. Toys were ripped apart, mutilated, things were broken, antiques were broken, toys were broken, everything was broken, and of course, Gene always said that Robert did it. Now, that could just be a troubled child blaming it on a doll, but it's weird that this behavior apparently started when Robert got the doll. That's just me. Years go down the line. Gene moves out, leaves Robert at the Otto home, and Gene becomes this successful painter. He's living the high life. He is on his Margaritaville shit. He is living the Jimmy Buffett life, you know. And he is this freelance artist. He meets this girl named Annette that he likes, that he calls Anne. He starts seeing her. They get married in Paris in the year 1930, and then they move back into his childhood home. Good story, right? Wrong. Robert once moved back into the home, starts his unhealthy obsession with the doll again. He takes it out of the attic where it's been in storage, and he's like carrying it around apparently, and Anna's like, ew. Well, that's an ick. Cause that's an ick, you know? Like, I mean, imagine that you marry the man of your dreams. He's this successful, wealthy artist who has this beach mansion, and you move in, and he starts carrying around this doll, like some kind of American Horror Story type person. Like, that's an ick. Ew. Not only is he like carrying around this doll, but like the doll also doesn't even have like features of the face. He just has some like button eyes. It's like, oh, I don't know what I would do in that situation. I think I would just take the L and be like, burn the doll or I'm leaving. And all is well until Anne now starts to notice that she hears footsteps and pacing, and she's really freaked out about the idea of this doll being in her home. So she instructs Gene, lock it in a box. I don't even want it out. And so he locks it in a trunk, and apparently crashing sounds happen in the night, and he goes up to investigate them, and Gene is in the window looking over the street of a completely different room, may I add, of Gene's childhood bedroom now. Ew, that's creepy. Throw it away. I don't see why this was a problem. I simply would have just burned it. Gene tells Anne that Robert can't stay in the attic anymore because he wants a room with a window. If my husband said that to me, it's over. Sorry, call me Beyonce, because I would be a single lady. Basically, they just let this doll live rent-free in the window suite of their house, and he now sits in the window. This is where some more speculation comes in. Kids coming home from school would walk past the auto house, and they said that they would see this doll moving around, shifting around, and the doll would change positions. This could be one of two things. A, the doll's haunted. Okay, we've established that much, all right? Or B, Robert, aka Gene, has this really bad obsession with Robert the doll, and he's like moving it around and playing, and he's like, la 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 la, love my little toys. And he's like moving it around because he's a creep and a weirdo. And I think that's probably more likely, but it really doesn't explain all of every single person in this doll's life being absolutely terrified by it, okay? Like, absolutely mortified. I think something had to be going on with the doll. Otherwise, why would anyone be scared of it? Robert passed away in 1974, and the home was bought by a woman named Myrtle Reuter, who found the doll and kept the doll for many years, even after she had moved away. Myrtle had a soft spot for this doll, but she is the one who ended up donating it to the Fort Monticello Museum in Key West, Florida, because, quote, it kept moving around her house. Oh, you think? You think? Really? You sure about that? Well, that brings us close to the end of our story, but it's not over yet. The museum employees at the Fort Monticello Museum in Key West, Florida say that Robert is alive, and they believe that he is haunted, and they have, reported claims of the cameras mysteriously not working when they are, surveilling Robert's area. They have said Robert moves around in his glass display case. They say that Robert is this, sentient being that can answer questions, and some of the visitors at the museum even ask him for advice. They write him letters, they go in to speak with him, and they swear that they can get these telepathic answers, or the answer will be mysteriously displayed in front of them for them to know the right thing to do. So they go to Robert like this fortune teller, and that's creepy. You won't catch me doing that, but I would like to see him, but I'll be darned if I speak to that little thing. Just saying. He's on my no contact list. Thousands of people write Robert letters and send him gifts in the mail. I'm not joking. They are sending dolls gifts. They are sending Robert money. They are sending Robert letters. They are sending Robert toys and candy. And museum employees have even said that people send him joints. I don't know how to feel about that. That's funny. Imagine just Robert the doll kicking back on one of his evening afternoons after the museum closes. He's disabled the cameras with all his little doll magic, and he's like... That's so funny to me. Yeah. Even though he didn't kill anyone, Robert the Doll directly inspired Chucky. To me personally, the fact that the one thing that scared me so bad as a kid is based on a real story. Overall, that's it. It's a pretty anticlimactic story because obviously no one died, there was no killings, there wasn't a sexy goth doll named Tiffany with a beauty mark and a Tiffany necklace that I can really like yassify into the story, but it's just really scary to think about your child having this doll that it's scaring him, but also he's really obsessed with it. He really loves it. He doesn't want to leave it. It's this toxic relationship, and I think that that's the most scary part about this story, is that Robert sacrificed so much to have Robert the Doll in his life. It scared him as a child, and he kept it from the time he was, you know, a child in 1904 to the time that he died, and that's awful. You shouldn't be holding on to your negativity like that. You've been watching Melody Ever After. This is the first in my series of horror movies in real life. I have a couple more videos coming out where I'm going to be talking about either the direct inspiration for horror movies or times that things from horror movies happened in real life. If you like horror content, I suggest you stick around. And in the meantime, I am a video essay channel. I love to make geeky videos about pop culture, movies, video games, TTRPGs, etc. So if you're interested in any of that geeky stuff, I would really appreciate it if you checked me out. Until next time.